Hey, coming to you again for the 250th of Bunker Hill, June 17th, 1775, standing near the southeast corner of the earthwork constructed on the night of June 16th into the 17th. If you're following along with us here on the ERW, Mark Malloy did a video down the road behind the cameraman on the advance of the British. Now, it's also known as the Battle of Bunker Hill, although we're standing on Breed's Hill. Guy to my right, the statue, Colonel William Prescott, is in command of about 1,200 Massachusetts militiamen who will come up here on the night of June 16th, and with him, Colonel Richard Gridley, who is an engineer in charge of what would be American artillery, and of course the ubiquitous Israel Putnam, will decide instead to build here at Breed's Hill. Why is that? We're not 100% sure. Maybe because it's a little closer to the city of Boston, maybe it's a little more advantaged site, maybe they got confused in the middle of the night, so depending on what story you want to believe. But they do construct an earthwork here quickly. 132-foot long earthen work, quadrangle, if I pronounce that right, fortification here that will look out on an apex toward where the British would advance. Now, they construct this on the night of June 16th. Prescott is concerned, obviously, as well, that the British may hear him. They do not. British the next day will advance up. One militiaman will say that the Americans, the British thought they could swallow them up, but they became a mouthful or a chokeful. But Prescott is one of those gentlemen, unsung heroes. He's known here at Bunker Hill. His leadership during the bombardment of the British from Copp's Hill, from the guns along the Charles River, and from the HMS Lively, Somerset, etc., will test his leadership. One of the first casualties, Asa Pollard, will actually have his head smashed in by one of those artillery shells. Pollard will have him buried quickly without honors, get the body in the ground. Militiamen are tired, they've been digging in, they've been here all night. They're worried, of course, about the British. To show leadership, Prescott will actually just stand up on the earthwork itself. The American line, of course, runs down. The British will advance in the afternoon after a large cannonade. The British are going to come up. First wave will be met. And of course, Prescott issues that famous line, "Do not fire until you see the whites of their eyes." Probably, if he said anything similar, it was, "Do not fire until you see the whites of their stockings." He's going to tell his men to aim low, because if you're going to fire a musket, you think about it's on your shoulder, you're going to fire up. And so if you fire up from the stockings, you would still hit, especially going downhill. The British will retreat back. They'll have a second wave. Now, this will be the crux of American forces even when George Washington takes over in the summer of 1775. The lack of ammunition, the lack of powder and ball. Most of that, of course, is made over in Europe, has to be brought in. But there are reinforcements. Initially, Prescott is not going to call them in, saying that the men who dug the fortification are the best to defend it. But he gets over his vanity, and militiamen will respond. Ward from Cambridge will march them in to help with the defenses, and along comes one of the, well, our friend Christian Nispigna will call him the founding martyr, Dr. Warren. He'll take a position here, even though he is a general in the Massachusetts militia. He fights as a private or infantryman here. When the Americans start to run out of ammunition, the British will get over the earthen fort, some hand-to-hand fighting. Prescott will actually, according to one of his relatives, will have multiple bullet holes through his frock coat. He's turning away British bayonets with his ceremonial sword. Warren, though, unfortunately, will be either shot, bayoneted, hit in the face, disfigured, is mortally wounded, will die shortly thereafter, and then is, of course, not treated well by the British soldiers. But the Americans will hold long enough to retreat back, cause enough casualties here at Breed's or Bunker's Hill to thwart. And as Nathaniel Greene will say, "I wish we could sell the British another hill such as Bunker Hill."